really green, beautiful.
Only 20 years old in a boating accident. We're in Bangkok in this beautiful garden sanctuary, which happens to be on the 10th floor of a parking garage. I will get to why we are here in a second. If you follow our channel, you know that earlier this year we were in Bangkok and we just loved the city, the history, the culture, and of course the food. And we just knew we had to come back and spend a little bit more time here. So we're back and we thought, besides history and culture, what makes these types of cities so iconic? And it's the green spaces, it's the escape from the city into these green sanctuaries, which we happen to be in one of today. So we thought, let's go out and explore some of the iconic green spaces in Bangkok.
So Chris successfully navigated us over here to Benchakheti Park, which is not too far from Sukhumvit, which is one of the main roads here in Bangkok. And it's really nice, it's huge. I think it's about 180 acres. And they've really made a point of stressing that this is for working out and keeping your health. There are signs that say, okay, if you eat this type of food, this is how many kilometers you have to run, or here are some stretches to do, which I think is really kind of cool. And there are bike paths and places you can walk around this beautiful lake, or you could even practice your next viral dance like some guys are doing next to us.
So we have heard that there are monitor lizards here, which, according to the sign, there are.
And we know they can get pretty big. If you've seen our our Suratani video, if you've seen our Suratani video, you know that they can get pretty big and they can come pretty close to people. It's worth taking a look, and maybe Chris will link it somewhere for us.
I'll link it down in the comments below.
So one cool thing we've noticed here in the park is there are trees and a statue that we've seen so far that have plaques next to them and explains, okay, this is what the tree is, Latin name, blah, blah, blah. But it also says who donated the tree. And there's a tree behind us from the Royal Nepalese Consulate. There's a Merlion statue from Singapore. We've seen a tree from Pakistan, or a jasmine bush from Pakistan, and I'm sure there's more here in the park. It's really kind of interesting that, you know, regional countries and governments contribute to the beautification and improvement of other places.
Yeah, we should research the history of the park, because there's probably a reason for that.
Probably.
But we don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah. So we're just about to go on to the Skywalk, and this is the part I've been looking forward to. I've seen a lot of pictures on Google Maps. It's kind of like an elevated platform that takes you through a big part of the park, so you can kind of have an overview rather than walking through. You're kind of walking over the park, so it looks kind of cool. We just learned from a plaque that this is considered a forest park, not a public park, but a forest park, which apparently means that it needs to be maintained, but being a forest, the living organisms here are self-sustaining, or at least I think that's what the plaque said. Anyway, kind of interesting. I thought it was a public park, but it is a forest park, technically speaking. So the city is directly behind us, but looking around here, you wouldn't really know that you were in the middle of a city. It's so quiet and calm. You can just hear the birds, and there's a nice, cool breeze. The trees are providing shade. I love parks. And if you watch our other videos, you'll notice we always seem to end up in parks wherever we are. We always end up in a park somewhere. getting warm out here, but this park is super awesome. Like,
Yeah.
really impressed with how it's all put together. The skywalk is awesome. You could just get a really good view of the entire park, but it is getting hot.
It's getting a little warm.
So along the skywalk, there are lots of plaques with interesting information about the ecosystem here, the animals that live here, and actually there was one plaque about dragonflies that said they were a really good indicator of the health of the water here because they won't lay their eggs if the water isn't clean. So I'm learning some things today, which I didn't expect. We just spotted a water monitor, and they're very difficult to see because they're so camouflaged.
Very well camouflaged. This is the second one we've seen, and they're just massive.
These are not as big as what we saw in Suratani, I think, but they're still pretty big. Like, I wouldn't want to actually walk into one if I was down in this, I don't know, water area, what would you call it, swampy area.
Yeah. I don't think they would run away from us.
I think they would.
I don't know about that.
Anyway, they're quite large.
Yeah.
They're not the biggest that we've seen, but they're still quite large.
Pretty cool.
And pretty cool. Don't know if they're visible on the video, but we did our best to capture them because we love our water monitors. So I think the skywalk is about 1 kilometer in length. When we started, there was some sign that said like 950 meters, and we keep walking and it doesn't end, and then it's like another 500 meters and another 400 meters. So it's quite long, and it's quite nice. Very tranquil.
Really enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it too.
So we've reached the end of the skywalk. This is going to be the first of, I think, several green areas in Bangkok that we're going to go visit. Hope they're as neat as this. This is really, really nice. I really like this. So stay tuned. We're continuing our exploration of Bangkok's green spaces today by a visit to Lumpini Park.
So right at the entrance of the park is this giant statue of King Rama VI. Unfortunately, it looks like they're doing some kind of renovation project, and we're not able to get too close, but it does look pretty big and pretty cool from a distance.
We found out that the park is 142 acres here in the middle of the bustling city, and they've got these super cute duck boats on the lake behind us.
So the land that is part of the park belonged to King Rama VI, and in 1925 he donated it to the public to become a fairground. After the fair was done, he decided to turn it into a public park. So we just saw a water monitor swimming in the water, and there's this kind of ominous sign that says, "Do not approach water monitors, they're very dangerous," which I assume if you're bitten, probably hurts, and perhaps you get an infection that's really bad. So we're gonna keep our distance. So I'm trying to get some video of these monitor lizards, water monitors. They're very hard to see though. So hopefully our video will pick them up. Maybe we'll like put an arrow or something where they are. But we're trying to keep our eyes out because some of them are actually very, very close. And we've seen them before when we were in Suratani. They actually move pretty quickly. So, and of course we're like foreign tourists, so we actually don't really know how dangerous they are, but they're probably not that dangerous as long as you are smart about how close you, oh, what is that? Is that like a water monitor?
I don't know. There's a water monitor behind it.
These things are all over the park, so we're going to continue on our way and see what else we can find here. So Stephanie, what is your opinion of the park so far?
I really like it. It's a beautiful space, really well designed, and there's fountains and wildlife beyond the lizards. Yeah, really enjoying it.
And it really seems like people are taking advantage of the park. We're out on a Sunday, so you expect maybe there are more people out, but we see people doing like Tai Chi and exercises, just out walking, also taking advantage of the little gazebos that are out here. So it's pretty busy and kind of cool. I think we picked a great day to come out. The sky is so blue. It's been pretty overcast because the monsoon season has started, and today is just like perfect. Nice blue sky, a little bit of clouds, and of course the trees provide a nice canopy of shade, so we're enjoying it outside. I just can't believe what an amazing day it is today. Blue skies, a little bit of clouds out, and a really nice breeze in this beautiful park. So we're coming to the end of our walk through Lumpini Park, but we're passing by the Chinese clock tower, which was built by King, I think by maybe proclamation of King Rama VI in 1925. So it's almost 100 years old, and although it's probably been upgraded and renovated, it does still chime because we just walked by and it was still chiming. It's actually quite a nice meditative chime, but 99 years old, that's a pretty old clock. So pretty cool. We're gonna head towards the exit/entrance and continue on with our exploration of green spaces in Bangkok.
This morning we're here in Sanaram Park. It's across from the Grand Palace here in Bangkok, so we've got a beautiful view not only of the park, but of the gorgeous buildings across the street. The park was originally a residence for royal princes and royal guests, since it is across from the palace, and it was turned into a public park in 1960. I think it was originally constructed around the 1860s.
So in the middle of the park, there is a monument to Queen Sunanda. I'm going to put her other name up because I can't pronounce it. But she was born in 1860 and died in 1880, only 20 years old, in a boating accident when I think a steamship crashed into the boat she was in. I think it was a royal boat. And her mother also, the queen, did not survive that. So kind of a sad story. This is a well-known monument in the park right next to and across from the Royal Palace. And today it looks like we have a number of school groups. There are quite a few art students that are painting in the park, and we see some other groups of students. I'm not sure what they're doing. I don't know if it's like a cultural or a field trip, but they're out and about, so it's actually quite busy here. What is it, about 10:30? Oh, it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock, so quite busy. Again, love to see people taking advantage of the outdoor spaces in the city, and this is another great example of a place where you can do that. So we're not sure what this building is behind us. There is a sign that says they're renovating it. We assume it was probably at one point a greenhouse. Maybe it could have been a residence too if this was part of
The Royal Grounds, the Royal Park.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Royal Grounds. We don't know. If you know, though, however, feel free to drop us more information in the comments. We were just saying that we don't think a lot of people come over here because they're too busy looking at the temples. And the funny thing is, you know, I was thinking last time we were over here, we literally walked right by this park and didn't notice it.
Never saw it.
Because we were too busy focused on the temples,
Yeah.
which are right next door. So what do you think of the park so far?
I like it. It's a tiny park, but it's so beautiful, really well manicured, maintained. There's a kids' play area, some little pavilions. I mean, if I worked in the area, this would definitely be a place I'd come on a break or lunch and just take a breath from the hustle and bustle. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, agreed. It's really nice. Very small and compact, but also very well maintained and just kind of tranquil.
Another thing that I noticed is there are a lot of ravens in this park. For those of us from the States, it's not a bird we usually see in parks. I don't know where they actually are at home. I'm sure they're somewhere.
San Francisco?
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Raven Lady by the beach.
Oh, yeah, I've seen her, the Raven Lady on Ocean Beach. Yeah, totally have seen her. But here in the park, usually we see pigeons, a lot of pigeons or seagulls, wherever, depending on where you are. But
And crows.
and crows. But the ravens are pretty cool, and there's quite a few of them. So if you're going to be around the Royal Palace and Wat Po and you need a little break, this park is a great place to come and just sit down for a minute. There's plenty of benches. Take a deep breath and just relax before you get back into it.
So we're passing through this public park on our way to the Chao Phraya Sky Park, which is on a bridge that goes across the Chao Phraya River and connects two public parks. So we're going to see if we can actually figure out how to get there. And hopefully when we do, it's nice, because we're not exactly sure what to expect, but we thought it'd be kind of interesting to check it out. Perfect, we found it. Well, with all the noise, I would not call this tranquil at all.
Nope.
It's kind of nice. We'll keep going, but it's very noisy from all the traffic. So while it's noisy, the views up here are really amazing. I don't think we've seen a view of the city like this, at least not from this vantage point, and of course across the river. So it ends up looking really, really spectacular. Minus all of the traffic noise, but I mean, hey, you know, what can you say? This is kind of a cool idea. I mean, I like the idea. So we've crossed the Chao Phraya River, across the Sky Park, and we are now in what is described as a forest park. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name because I'm going to do terrible things to it. It's a small little park, kind of nice, but just maybe a place you would come sit and relax. Probably not enough room to really stroll around, but they've got some, I think, some basketball and some weights here. Yeah, so maybe a nice communal little place to hang out. We are going to head back across the Sky Park, and continue our exploration of urban green spaces
in Bangkok.
So today we have come across the Chao Phraya River. Technically, we're outside of Bangkok to an area called the Green Lung. Now, when we were here last time, we considered visiting this space, but we just didn't leave enough time for ourselves. We actually were not in Bangkok very long. And so we thought, well, we're back. We're doing this whole thing about green spaces, and this is a very well-known green space area just outside the city.
The Green Lung is full of mangrove forests, which are really cool trees, I think, and small holdings of farmers, and I think a couple of really good coffee shops. So let's see what we can find.
Yeah, and also should note, most people rent bikes when they visit because it is a very sprawling area, kilometers and kilometers of space to explore. We're not that adventurous. We're also heading over to a botanical garden, and we're gonna walk and then kind of figure things out from there. We don't have a really solid plan. All we know is we're going to walk for the foreseeable future today, at least. As we were flying into Bangkok from Singapore, I was actually pretty excited because we could see the Green Lung from the airplane. I got a little bit of footage, which I think is usable, but it just gives you an idea of how large this space is.
If you've ever had Thai food and wondered how they get rice or a drink, something like that, purple, well, these flowers behind me are how they do it. They're butterfly pea flowers, and if you soak them in hot water, the beautiful purple dye comes out. And I don't think it really flavors anything, but it makes such a gorgeous color when you're cooking.
So we've arrived at our first and probably only destination here because it's quite sprawling and a lot to walk. This is the...
Try that again.
This is the, I don't know how you pronounce this place, Sri Nakhon Park. It was purchased by the government, and it was abandoned farmland, and then it was turned into this forest park. I don't know, I've seen it called a botanical garden, but I think it's more of like a forest park that is open to the public, and it's quite large. So we're going to try to walk through as much of it as we possibly can today, and probably stop for a drink or beverage along the way.
We've just started our exploration here, and so far really green, beautiful, as I think you would expect. A lot of shady area, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. Also lots of people riding bikes, but quite a fair number of people walking as well. So maybe we're not totally crazy.
So kind of cool, as we're walking through this park, we've noticed there are lots of plaques with useful information about the animals here, the flowers, the plants, and just sort of the entire ecosystem. So as you're walking, if you choose to, you can stop and read some of these plaques. Most of them have English, a few of them are in Thai only, but it's kind of cool. We're enjoying it. we just walked into this palm grove. These are nipa palm. I think I pronounced that properly. They're very hardy and can live well in muddy and high salinity conditions. They've been used, I guess, for centuries by Thai people as wind barriers across their properties, but they're also used for firewood, for cooking, obviously coconut curry, for sweets. They're a very versatile plant, and I guess has a very long history in Thailand.
The palm trees here really remind me of what we saw in Surat Thani when we went on the beautiful little boat ride that we took. What do you think? Looks like the same ones?
Yeah. And if you haven't seen that video, which is definitely one of, I think, the favorite videos that we produced, I'll put a link below. We had a really great time and took a really, really cool little boat ride through the mangroves. We decided to stop and just kind of listen to the sounds of the forest. So we've arrived at the birdwatching tower, which we've been walking towards for a while now, and it's probably very good for watching birds. I was hoping that we might be able to see a little bit over the tree line, but it doesn't go up quite that high, but it's still kind of neat to see the forest canopy from up here.
So we're looking around at all these beautiful trees and all the gorgeous leaves that are on them, and I read this sign, and turns out some of these leaves are not leaves of the tree. They're a fern that grows up the bark, and I think, let me see what they're called, lam teng, if I'm saying that correctly. If not, I apologize. But it's really interesting just to see the different ways that things start to grow and adapt and make room for themselves in a forest setting.
So something else interesting that we learned about these mangrove apple trees that are growing here, they have these breathing roots that sort of come up from the ground, I guess so they can breathe. And they also have an acidic sap that deters ants and what was the other thing?
Termites?
Termites, thank you, from crawling up the tree bark, which allows fireflies to nest at the top of the trees, which is why these mangrove forests are usually kind of a tourist attraction in the evening to go see fireflies. We didn't know that before, but now we do, and it's one of the reasons why now we understand better why people do these evening firefly tours in the mangrove forests. Okay, so I think we have walked around most of this forest park, and we are very, very hot and sweaty. So we're going to go find something to drink and perhaps something to eat nearby.
That'd be really nice.
So we found a little place for some tea, and I got a yuzu honey lemon tea. And Stephanie, you got, oh, you don't have your mic on.
I don't.
Oh. Thai iced tea, and then we got some little croffles because that was all they had to eat. Okay, so we just finished our delicious beverages. They really hit the spot after such hot weather. The park was very cool. We really liked it. There was a lot to explore. We didn't explore everything, and part of the trail was a little wet and muddy, but most of it is paved, so it's really easy to walk around. I think we learned a lot, and I'm really glad we decided to come out here to the Green Lung and just see a little bit more. Now there's a lot more you can do here. There's a floating market, which technically I don't think is a floating market. It's like between a couple of canals. That's a bit out of the way, and we decided that we weren't going to go there today. And there are a number of other places you can see, restaurants, lots of places to cycle around if you're into cycling. So we just scratched the surface, but we intended to come out to this park and check it out. And it's another one of those great green spaces that are available in Bangkok, or in this case, just outside of Bangkok proper. By the way, if you're interested in coming to the Green Lung, it's a short boat ride across the Chao Phraya River. I'll put a link to the pier in the description. Cost us 20 baht each way, so a total of 80 baht round trip for the both of us. Very quick boat ride. On the other end of the pier, on the Green Lung end, you can rent bicycles. Lots of people do it. As I said, we didn't do that today, but it's very, very simple to get over here and very inexpensive. So we're back where we started this video originally, on top of a rooftop garden in the middle of the city. We went to 4 different parks.
4 or 5, I think.
4? 5? Which were?
Lumpini, which I think was my favorite. That's not too far from where we were staying, and it was just really nice big park, really made you feel like you were out of the city. And then, if I'm saying this right, sorry, Saranram Park, which was right across from Wat Po and the palace that's near the river in Bangkok. I think those were probably my 2 favorite, but they were all like really nice and really gorgeous. And what I really liked was that you really forgot you were in one of the world's busiest cities. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And we also went to Benchikiti Park, as well as visiting the Green Lung. I think my favorite was, and I thought it was going to be the Green Lung, but I actually think it was Benchikiti Park. I just loved that skywalk that went across all of that forest park lands, and you could see it from above.
Yeah.
And you knew you were still in the city, and yet you were not in the city. And it was, I thought, just really fun. Although it was a very hot day, I thought it was really fun to just sort of walk across over all of that, I don't know, kind of mangrove swamp. I don't know what.
I mean, it almost felt like you were in a wild animal park and you were like just expecting zebras or gazelles or something to run along underneath the bridge. It was kind of funny like that.
So we hope you've enjoyed coming along with us to visit some of the green spaces here in Bangkok. There are many others to choose from. We just kind of selected a few of the more popular ones. Hopefully you did enjoy it, and if you did, you can give us a thumbs up.
And please go ahead and consider subscribing, and we will see you in the next one.